Hey everyone, Jay Whitner here with Space Headlines. We do a quick overview of what's going on in space each week, and today we're going to be talking about the second week of June 2018. Our lead story is SpaceX. They want to build a giant campus at the Kennedy Space Center, and I do mean it's a huge thing that they're talking about doing. 67 acres. This would be approximately 1 mile from the main visitors center at Kennedy Space Center. SpaceX is forecasting that they're going to do up to 64 launches a year, and this big facility is supporting that. The tower that you see depicted here might be as much as 300 feet tall. They also want to have a hangar that's going to be approximately 133,000 square feet and their very own rocket garden. There's this thing called the Blackjack Project, that the basic idea is for the military to shift from a small number of very, very capable satellites to large numbers of simpler satellites. And this idea is getting more and more momentum from different quarters. This particular story has to do with DARPA and the Senate Armed Services Committee. The Senate Committee is really strongly supporting this idea, and they're calling it the highest unfunded priority. So apparently we're going to see more and more funding and support for the Blackjack Project. Good news for Northrop Grumman and Orbital ATK. The U.S. Federal Trade Commission has given their final go-ahead for this acquisition of Orbital ATK by Northrop Grumman. So ATK is going to become the fourth major business sector for Northrop Grumman. The purchase price of this was $7.8 billion. And the anticipation is that with this new business revenues, the total Northrop revenues are going to be roughly $30 billion a year. Firefly Aerospace, I keep thinking should be renamed Phoenix Aerospace, but they got in a big contract from Surrey Satellite Tech to launch up to 6 different payloads. Their vehicle that you see depicted here is the Firefly Alpha rocket. The capability here is 1,000 kilogram payloads to LEO. And this deal has been signed for up to 6 launches, and the launches are scheduled to happen in the 2020 to 2022 timeframe. Our Fearless Opportunity rover on the surface of Mars is experiencing really heavy weather on Mars. There's a huge storm, a storm larger than North America, as I understand. So far, Opportunity's been holding up okay. It's getting still actually messages through to Earth. We're still having communications from the rover, but it's getting colder and colder because it has less and less power to work with because the storm dust is blocking the solar power that's generated by the solar panels. So this is an issue right now. Already, Curiosity is 20 degrees below zero on the Fahrenheit scale for our European friends. The FlyEye telescope is designed to see dangerous asteroids. This is a planetary defense kind of thing. What the concept here is many telescopes have a very narrow field of view. This telescope is going to have a very wide field of view. It's going to use 16 different segments to facilitate this broad field of view to see asteroids that could be a threat. The big downside of this is it has sort of less reach because of the wide field of view. So we'll see a broader piece of sky, but this means that the warning time will be reduced. Depending on the size and characteristics of an asteroid, they're saying that they would see it 3 weeks out. But really, if you wanted to mount a mission to try to influence the outcome, you'd want it to be 3 years out, 10 years out, not 3 weeks out. So we'll see what comes of all of this. There's a lawsuit about some lunar dust. decades and decades ago, after Neil Armstrong returned from the moon, he gave a small vial of moon dust to a little 10-year-old girl. And with a nice note from him, so there's certain provenance that it's really there and really from Neil and everything. So there was a situation a few years back that she tried to sell something that had a little bit of the dust in it, and NASA seized it and so forth. So she has filed a lawsuit that Neil gave it to her, this is her moon dust, and so on and so forth. So we'll see what the court determines out of this situation. As the week wore on, we're getting more and more concerned about the Opportunity rover on Mars. The storm has intensified, I guess, in terms of its ability to block sunlight and further reduce the power that is reaching the Opportunity rover, which has now been put into a low power sleep mode sort of thing. So this is causing a critical shortage of power. And this means effectively that the rover will get colder and colder as this situation persists, because there's not power to run the electronics inside that provide some warmth. This has the potential to kill the rover, potentially. If the rover gets cold enough, it could damage all the systems and the rover might not work anymore. We have some interesting news from far, far away about protoplanets, planets in the process of formation. So astronomers have developed some new approaches to work on this. They're actually studying 3 of these that are about 300 light years away. So they're using a network of radio telescopes to do this work, and new science every day. That's it for Space Headlines. Hope you enjoyed our show. We'll see you in a week or so with the next episode. Take care.